Welcome to my side of town.
Good day and welcome again to our favorite place here in my side of town. It's 2020 and this is our first episode for the year. Definitely there will be new challenges, obstacles to hurdle, and tension is growing up in the Middle East. A wildfire in Australia has claimed the lives of hundreds of animals. In our home front, we're still enveloped with a blanket of uncertainties. But I believe these things will pass. We just have to look at the positive side of life and continue to pray. In the meantime, join me in another interesting episode. I'm Nando Luzon, and you're in my side of town.
Before IMG,
I was a civil engineer.
Accountant. I was a plain housewife.
Before IMG, I used to be a doctor.
I was a maintenance crew.
manufacturing operator.
I'm a housewife.
I was an accounting clerk.
I'm a medical doctor.
I am an engineer.
Before IMG, I used to be a teacher,
I was a government employee.
a production worker.
Geologist. I am a bank employee.
Before IMG, I was an admin staff.
I was a seaman.
Design engineer.
I was a deli manager.
I was a telecom engineer.
Before IMG, I was quality director.
I used to be a doctor.
Production operator.
Industrial engineer.
IT home-based freelancer.
Before IMG, I was a manufacturing specialist.
I was an exporter.
Engineer.
Software developer.
I was a Caltex dealer.
Admin officer.
I was a florist.
Before IMG, I was a service crew.
I'm great.
I am great.
I
am
G.
I am great. IMG. IMG.
IMG.
I am great.
I am
G.
I am great.
I am great.
I am great.
Welcome back to my side of town. This is our first episode in the year 2020, and I'm so honored to have with me our first guest. He's my friend, and he's familiar, especially to the media and political circle, especially during political season, during election. He is an AB, Pol Sci, and Bachelor of Laws graduate from the University of San Carlos, the Comelec Election Officer 4, based in Mandaue City, detailed at the Office of the Provincial Election Supervisor, Cebu Province, professor at the University of San Carlos College of Law, and authored a book titled Frequently Asked Questions in Election Law. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only attorney Ferdinand Gujilde. Hi, sir.
Hi, thank you, Sir Dante.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for granting my request.
My pleasure and my honor, actually.
Actually, the honor is mine. So, it's off political season now. So, what are you busy with?
Okay, now, nindot na nga pangutana, no? Because pag wala election, doon ay dako nga misnomer nga, ang Comelec nagpahayahay lang kung dili na election, no? Actually, ang among trabaho is tibuok tuig, and we're not even considered seasonal employees. Kay after elections or even before elections, doon natin gitawag na system of continuing registration.
Okay.
Kana makita nato sa balita no nga nagkagubot ang mga tao sa registration. Actually kana nahitabo na sa probably last 2 days, last 3 days towards the deadline. Pero kung imong tan-awon sa balaod o sa practice sa Comelec, every day nag-conduct may registration.
So every day?
Every day. Doon natin trabaho sa Comelec every day. We cleanse the voters list, we approve applications for registration, transfer, correction of entries, and many other things.
I just like to, because I always had this impression, and I think a lot of people would share that impression, that when there is no election or it's a political season, it's a lean season for the Comelec people. Now that you explained to me that, every day you will have your hands full, so at least people now would know. But there are still a lot of questions. But before going to that, anyway, election is still how many years from now? We still have
2022.
And we still have the barangay election. And
But the barangay elections na-postpone until December 5, 2022.
Okay.
So in 2022, duha ta ka election. Doon ay presidential and barangay elections.
Okay. I'd like to just rewind a bit or backtrack a bit in terms of your career as a lawyer. Before Comelec, what did you do? Were you connected?
Okay. In 1998, nagkatrabaho ko sa Provincial Board diri sa Cebu, no?
Okay.
Staff ko sa kaning Philippine Councilors League. Then after that, after I took the bar, while waiting for the bar, nabali, no? At first, staff ko ni Attorney Sinisa, kadtong Provincial Board member sa 6th District. Then after I took the bar and while waiting for the results, na ako sa PCL. Then when I became a lawyer, very briefly, mga 1 year lang tingalin, engaged ko to private practice.
Okay.
Then later on, I was appointed to the Comelec as election officer of Mandawi City.
So you've been in the Comelec for how long now?
At least 16 years. Probably, I think March 1st, karong nga tuig, is my 16th year in the Comelec.
You must have started very young there at the Comelec office.
Not really. I was probably 34 when I started with Comelec.
Yeah. But do you still do private law practice?
Doon na tayo limited practice or limited authority nga gihatag sa Comelec para makapangabugar gihapon mi. Kay ang tuyuan na aron dili mi matay ang isip mga abogado.
Yes.
Pero limited siya nga practice. In other words, dili mi makapataka og dawat sa mga kaso kay dunay mga kaso nga dili pwede dawaton, like for example
Like
if
what
the
case
government is the other party.
Okay.
So dunay conflict of interest. Then doon na may limitation in so far as court appearances is concerned, dapat 5 lang sa usa ka buwan and it must be applied with a leave of absence.
So who monitors that?
Doon na may kuan ang among executive director nag-require namo pag-submit og monthly report in so far as our law practice is concerned.
Okay. So before that, as a student, elementary, high school, did you have this? Did you ever program your career path that okay, I just really wanted to become a lawyer, wanted to take up law, and I want to become a lawyer? Did you have that in mind?
Yeah. Tungod tingali sa istorya sa mga tao sa akong pamilya, no? Because especially in the province, I come from Tandag, Surigao del Sur. It was a sleepy hometown before. So murag somehow people would encourage me to take up law. So murag na imbibe po na ko nga probably I could be a lawyer. So pero on the side, doon na po ko ilang ambisyon, Sir Dance, no? I really wanted to be a sports writer.
Ooh.
As a matter of fact, I had a brief stint with one of the local newspapers. I was a sports correspondent for 3 months.
Really?
Yeah, I so enjoyed that. However, na-realize na ako nga maybe there's not so much money in it. So, nagpadayon na lang gid ko sa akong pagkaabogado.
Did you come from a family of lawyers?
No, I'm the first in the family.
Oh,
exactly why my father took a lot of pride when I passed the bar.
Wow.
Oo.
Okay. What year was this when you passed the bar?
I passed the bar in 2001, I think, if I remember
Not
right.
so long ago.
Not so long
Not
ago.
so long ago. Hey, you're still young. You know.
Thank you.
Kulang, ang kuan man god, in your resume, I read here that you were assigned in the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao.
Before, no? Katong wala
Was this
pa.
Comelec na kaani nga time?
Comelec na. Katong wala pa ma-synchronize ang ARM elections sa atong national elections. I think August ilang elections eh. So medyo libre ang mga abogado nga rin sa Cebu and other places. So murag doon na yung panginahanglan nga mo reinforce me sa mga election officers dito. So ipadala mi dito either during registration or during elections sa ARMN.
So how long did you stay sa IRMN?
Probably mga 1 week to 2 weeks. Inga na
Okay.
lang.
Okay.
Mga kaduha katulo na ko na-assign dito.
I thought it went on for a year or a year
Dili.
or two.
Very brief assignment lang to reinforce lang the personnel in the ARMM areas.
What's your assessment of the place? In the
Actually,
short time that you were there?
I so like the place. Kaya as a matter of fact, before ko na-assign dito, before ko nag-Comelec, I had a 1 year, nag-1 year ko dito sa Political Science in Mindanao State University.
FSU.
So I was familiar with the place. So pag ingon sa Comelec na i-assign me dito, I was excited. While others might be, they might have feared going there. Ako na-excite ko kay makabalik ko sa MSU.
Correct.
I so like the place except probably ang peace and order situation, mao gyud na
Exactly.
downside dito.
Because during the 1996 election, ARMM election, we were there to cover it. We stayed there for 3 days. The place is so beautiful. We stayed in Marawi, in MSU campus for 3 days. The environment is so conducive for, you can relax, peace of mind. But the problem, as you said, again, there is a cloud of fear because of, anything could happen. And we were warned by our caretakers nga, ayaw gud mo og suroy ining kagabi na. Don't take chances kay lisod na kay dili mo taga dire. But in your stay there, did you have a similar problem with what we encountered so far?
Wala gyud pero din ako malimtan nga dunay pipila ka nga gabi nga makamatami kay dunay magrinakrakay. So we took cover. Normal ra na dito, no? Ang rinakrakay gyud nga magkabuang gyud mig kung say nga na kama nga to sa salog para mo hapa mi.
Okay. So pagbalik ni mo dire, was that a great sense of relief for you to be back in Cebu at staying there for quite a while?
Yeah, actually ko katong first year na ako sa Pol sa SMSU, one of the reasons nga nung ni-transfer ko Cebu is katong peace and order. So nabalhin ko dire ko nagtapos og political science sa San Carlos until nag-Bachelor of Laws.
So after graduation and when you became a lawyer, you decided to settle in Cebu na.
Murag na comfort zone ako ang Cebu niya. Kay di man kay ko adventurous nga tao, mas maayo na ako sa comfort zone. Di rin nagit ko. After graduation, I worked here until now. Probably I spent more than half of my life in Cebu.
Wow. Okay. Sa Comelec, what are the usual problems that you encounter? Did you ever receive threats, for example? Or,
Ako wala. Sa akong bahin, wala ko naka-experience na nagdoon ng mga death threats. No? Pero of course, ang criticisms na kanang pagduda na anak permi, that's part of the job. Pero sa giingon na namo, the clear conscience namo, mao ra na among hinagiban. Yeah.
Ang ako lang ba, although it's in a way we've been talking about the Comelec and the politically related concerns, for example. There's always an impression that, wait, if I am a candidate and if I lost and I had doubts that I was cheated, that I would file a protest. Na-impression ba nga, umufile ka protest, dugay kayo ang proseso, and then when you are proclaimed, well, the result would come out, election time na sa Why is that?
Actually, ang usa ka rason na is ang procedure mismo. The procedure might allow lawyers to delay the proceedings. Like for example, pananglit nagdaog na sa lower court, doon na pa man kay remedy to appeal the case to the higher authority like the Comelec, the Court of Appeals, or the Supreme Court. So mao nay makapadelay pud ang duplication sa jurisdiction, meaning doon ay appellate jurisdiction ng higher court, mao nay makapadugay. Pero kung lower court pa lang, the first instance, medyo madali siya, but not that speedy enough nga murag mapadali ka makapalingkod. So tinuod that's actually a problem nga ang election protest murag useless, it's a losing proposition. Kay kung pananglit ikaw ang ma-install as the real winner, it could be like 1 month prior to the end of term or even after the term of office.
We had a lot of cases like that. If I remember the case of Salimbangon and Martinez, right? And then there were again similar cases prior to that. But still, again, we have to abide to the process, and we have to follow the things by the book. Pero in your perception, for example, like, have you been affected by the controversies that involved higher Comelec officials in Manila, the national-based officials, like what happened to the Garci case, etc., etc.?
Okay. Wala gyud mi maapektuhan na kaya nga among moral remains the same no matter unsa issues nga ilabay sa Comelec. Kaya ang amo is our commitment is towards our work and not insofar as the leadership is concerned. Ang leadership man gud is incidental na siya. So ang among commitment is towards the Constitution, the law, and the people.
Okay. You're teaching law now. How long you been teaching law?
6 to 7 years, I think, sa San Carlos.
Okay. Is it a factor when you take the bar? Because ingon sila sometimes, like, in our school back in Davao, we had this classmate who we hoped to be at least included in the top 10 when the bar result would come out. But he flunked. In fact, he could not take it that he almost committed suicide.
Wow. Okay.
Why is that? What are the factors that would attribute to that, for example?
At first, una yun, akong pagtanaw sa law school or even sa pag-take sa bar, it's the great equalizer. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter from where school you come from. Kay ang pag-check sa mga examiner is, mura silang blindfolded. They don't know who is the examinee. Kung kinsa tagiyaan nga booklet. So murag mal-level up ang field because walay biases on the part of the examiners. They wouldn't know if it's from San Carlos, from UP, Ateneo, or wherever. So kanang dunay mga gi-expect nato nga pasar sa bar or even top the bar nga wala didn't make it, no? Failed our expectations. Tingali dunay mga kuan lang, dunay laing factors nga wala mo pabor nila on that day. Because ang bar exam ang good is it's a conglomeration of several factors coming together in your favor during the 4 Sundays of September or November sa karon nga mga batch, no? So kung dunay gamay nga sipiat, that could be fatal nga di ka makapasa.
Yes,
Like handwriting could
Oh, yeah.
factor.
I was about to
handwriting
ask
could
that.
factor. Yes. so
Why handwriting?
handwriting kay dili man ta multiple choice, no?
Essay
Essay
or-
man, essay man ang
okay.
bar exam. So kung imong handwriting dili kay legible, it might affect the mood of the examiner, no? So probably kung ang examiner gisapot like it's a human factor, gisapot siya at the time then bati pa kag-agi, so posibleng tagaan kaniya gamay nga grado.
Overstudying, is that a factor?
Yeah, that could be a factor also, like over preparation, that could be a factor. You burn out, so you picking up too soon could be a disadvantage.
There was a plan that the bar exam is not only held in Manila. There was a proposal that
Actually, there was, no? Ang pag-regionalize sa bar exams, para na kung nindot kini siya. Kaya nga naman, ang gikan sa probinsya mo adto sa Manila, it's an unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
So disadvantage sila. So doon ay proposal to regionalize the bar and the Supreme Court actually agreed
okay.
on one condition, that there should be at least 1,000 examinees from this particular region, like for example in Cebu. Ang problema kay I think the Supreme Court announced it a little too late in the day.
Okay.
So ang mga examinees at that time nakabook na sa ilang mga accommodation sa Manila. So wala maabot ang minimum nga number, required number sa Supreme Court. And I think wala na nabalik ang mga proposal.
Yeah, because that was a few years ago pa.
Yeah, oo.
And until now, it's not realized.
Pero nindot gyud
Are you
ma-regionalize.
optimistic that this could be realized?
Yeah, I hope in due time, no? Kay doon na tay grupo nga nag-study how to reform the bar exams. And I think one of the better ways to reform that is to bring it closer to the students or to the examinees.
In teaching law, for example, what are the problems that you usually encounter in terms of student and teacher related?
Yeah, sa mga estudyante sa San Carlos Mongod, wala kay problema kay they have this very excellent study ethics. Kung magsulti ta kung prepared ba ang klase ang mga estudyante mo sa klase entity, they are prepared. Naka-develop din silang study ethics now. I think that's the advantage if you enroll in San Carlos. But of course, I always say this, no, that the bottom line there is it's about the student. Ang eskwelahan is just to facilitate learning. Ang na-encounter na ako nga problema is probably attitude sa mga millennials karon, no? Kay doon na tay gamay nakita nga medyo doon na sila disrespect for authority. Like there was an instance where maski I already raised my voice to drive home a point or probably to make them be silent in the class. Mo insist yun, no? So doon ay medyo gamay nga problema insofar as this attitude of the millennials.
So how do you manage that situation? Because I myself also encountered the same problem. I had staff who were probably about half of them were millennials. And it's hard to deal with this kind of people who have different set of,
Exactly,
lifestyle and thinking and thought. So how do you handle that? Just in case of-
Well, I have to assert my authority as a professor inside the classroom. I mean, who has the upper hand? It's the professor. So I had to ask them to leave if they don't, behave. So they have to make a choice. May na lang kay naminaw ra gyud eventually.
Okay. So as a teacher, as a law professor, of course, usa sa mga consolation nga atong madawat is when you see a student top the bar exam. Ako na estudyante.
Yes.
She was under me before. Aside from that, what compliments do you get?
Ang nindot nga compliments gid nga makita nako kanang sa evaluation. Kay
Okay.
doon naman gyud mi semestral evaluation. Nga makabasa kang maayo ang ilang feedback sa imong line of teaching. Like for example, moingon sila nga mas simplify nimo ang legal concepts for better understanding. I think that to me makes my job as a professor very fulfilling.
Can you name a few of your students who made it to the top 10?
Actually, ang first batch nga nag 100% sa San Carlos with 4 top notchers was my pioneer batch.
Wow.
Si Attorney Karen Calam, number 1. Then, ang pinaka-latest si Attorney Mark Lee Natuel, number 2. Si Attorney Mark Badayas, number 3. So, from that batch, sa pioneer batch nga na-handle na ako, until last year, consistent, very consistent ang San Carlos. Even prior to that pioneer batch, no, nga na-handle na ko.
How were they as students?
Excellent yun. Makita gidaan ni
Ang
mga
study ethics, ang attitude
ethics,
in the
everything.
classroom.
As a matter of fact, kani mga top students, sila ang wala kay makitang problema. Study ethics and also attitude-wise. Sila pinaka-diligent, pinaka-respectful sa mga professors. Yeah.
But was there a case nga katong least expected nimo nga mo top, mo hinoy ni top? Did it happen?
Okay. Yeah, balik ko sa akong giingon no, that the bar exam is a great equalizer. So I don't actually expect anybody to top, or I don't expect anybody not to top or not to even pass the bar. Akong tanaw nila is they are co-equals insofar as the opportunity to passing the bar is concerned and even topping the bar.
We're running out of time, Attorney Gujilde, but just to wrap this discussion up, what's your foresight in the year 2020? Are you optimistic? Are you hopeful despite the tension brewing up there in the Middle East and everything happening around us? Personal? Your personal
Personally, no,
assessment?
personally, pessimistic you'd go insofar as the country is
Are you?
concerned. Yeah, pero beyond that, I cannot expound because I'm with Comelec. So any pronouncements that I make might affect or might hurt somebody in in the political arena, and it might affect my impartiality.
Is there a pending protest now in your office? None.
Wala. Actually, sa among opisina, wala tayo jurisdiction sa mga protesta.
Okay.
Kaya ang protesta isang at ngadto sa either sa lower court, RTC, MTC, or Comelec. Na
Okay.
dito. Comelec, Manila. Not with us.
Okay. So I hope you will because ang Comelec is just like the military man nga what do you call this? I-revamp mo.
Doon na may rotation.
I hope
reshuffling.
you're gonna stay with us until the next political season because we need you for concerns and queries.
Thank you.
So with that, I would like to thank you, and again, I'm honored that you spent time with us here. on the
Again, my
show.
pleasure also.
Thank
Salamat
you.
kayo.
Attorney Ferdinand Gujilde, and you're watching My Side of Town. We'll be back after the break. Thank you,
Okay.
Attorney.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank
Okay.
you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome to my side of town. Five of 7 marine turtle species in the world can be found in the Philippines. But these marine turtles are threatened by human activities. Stop poaching, egg hunting, slaughter, illegal fishing, and pollution. Help save our endangered marine turtles. A friendly reminder from ITV Cebu, your channel, my channel, and also brought to you by the International Marketing Group, or IMG, Kaiser International Health Group Incorporated, and De Los Reyes Optical Clinic.
Half of my broadcast career has been spent on TV production. And over the years, I met people who share the same passion. And I'm always fascinated by the relentless quest to excel in their craft. One is Elmer Jojo Lavella. The Cebuanos have known him as the Sinulog Foundation Incorporated's executive director, but for the men and women of film and TV production, Jojo Lavella is a force to reckon with. Now, let's watch this video and get to know more of the man himself. It takes dedication, patience, passion, and talent for a person to get himself involved in the world of television and film production. It's all about developing connections and sowing seeds. Aside from natural talent coupled with guts and determination to excel, continuous learning is vital.
Albert Jojo Labella is a perfect example. His love affair with filmmaking began when his father, Gene Labella, one of Cebu's top filmmakers of his generation, exposed him to the facets of movie production at an early age. His mother was also a movie actress during the glory days of Cebuano films.
Even on my high school days, gihimo na akong papakuyog-kuyog sa mga shooting niya sa Cebuano films. In fact, he never agreed for me to study in the seminary. Iyalgigi kong pa kung anong i-train ko niya. So I joined him sa katong mga local Cebuano films like si Pilimon, Ikadong Bathala, and all those sorts. So motong nakuan ko into production because, murag ang level of consciousness naman is production. Then after that, I went to the US dito was Jones Intercable and all these other productions dito.
After his training and exposure to video production abroad, Jojo began establishing partnerships with big production companies in Manila. He began producing and directing feature films, TV commercials, and covering prestigious sports events aired on national television.
Pagbalik na ko, join ko sa kining gihimo kong producer sa Eastern Films ug Stellar Films. Mainstream na may film production. Manila-based na ni siya katong mga Gaano Kita Kamahal, Gobernador. So nahimo at first associate producer and to nahimo kong producer and executive producer.
His impressive credentials had caught the attention of the Cebu City government. He then led the TV production group of the Cebu City Public Information Office during the term of Mayor Michael Rama. Now, Jojo is the executive director of the Sinulog Foundation Incorporated, working for his brother, Cebu City's current mayor, Edgar Labella. At present, he may have his hands full, but Jojo still longs to return to his first love, film and TV production. He admits the landscape has changed, and with a migration from analog to digital, the filmmaker has to level up.
Because anybody can produce film, anybody can do editing, not like our time. We really need to invest money. Rolls of film are negatives. The positive, the laboratory cost is very expensive. You need a studio for the mix and remix. Not like now, you have the computer-based film editing, and you can just shoot even with cell phones.
Yes.
But now with the technology, they can watch it on Netflix and everything. Yeah.
A man of knowledge, God-given talent, and a wide experience of his chosen career and line of work doesn't have to brag of his credentials. That is Jojo Labella for you, a silent worker and a smooth operator. Both of us actually believe that the public is the final judge of how good you are. They always have the final verdict. Well, my side of town continues shortly. I'm Lando Luzon.
Be kind to your eyes with Transitions lenses. Transitions adapt to changing light while protecting your eyes from glare and UV.
Welcome to my side of town.
Welcome back to my side of town. Now, I am again honored because finally, I'm with my leading lady in the stage play back in, how many years ago was that, in a way? And at the same time, we worked together in several projects. She's an actress, she's a writer, she is an entrepreneur, she's a TV host, rolled into one. As a matter of fact, I have here a long list of credentials, which I'm going to discuss with her later on. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and my leading lady, Marlinda Ambetictan. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, my
Good afternoon. At long last, nakita na sa
Yeah. When was the last time we worked together?
I think we did a Sinulog.
We anchored
we
the
anchored a
Sinulog
Sinulog,
coverage, I think, sometime 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Something like that. Five.
And prior to that, there were projects we did a
Yes.
play together, I think
Yes.
once or twice. Anyway, you're a package of, wow, a lot of things. You had a TV show, you were a writer, but you took a Bachelor of Science in
Bachelor of Philosophy.
philosophy and a double major in English in what school was this? University of
San
San
Carlos.
Carlos. So after that, what drove you into the other things?
No,
other
I've always been artistic.
Okay.
You'll notice in my CV, I started going on stage when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Right after I won in a declamation contest,
Yes.
the sisters, assigned me a role in a stage play, and from then on, I was always on something like on stage.
You did Shakespeare.
We did some Shakespeare excerpts in college. So we did Macbeth, and I played Lady Macbeth.
Yes.
And then Cordelia in King Lear.
I took Shakespeare as an elective in college. I was forced into joining Merchant of Venice and Midsummer Night's
yes.
Dream because I did not attend the lecture. So my teacher gave me an incomplete grade.
Yes,
So I
yes.
said, okay.
I was a teacher. I would give you an incomplete.
She told me, my mentor, Ida Rivera Ford, she's in her late 80s now in Davao. And she said, I'm going to give you a grade provided you join my play. So I was forced to join her Shakespeare production in school. And my God, it was a torture and, memorizing
Yes.
all the lines.
Yes.
And you cannot just ad-lib
Yes.
because it's a Shakespearean
Yes.
play.
Yes.
So how was it?
And,
with you? Was it a
you have to get into the rhythm of the language, and you have to be at least comfortable to understand the way it's being said.
Correct.
So in other words, it's like you synchronize the way you say it with the way you act.
Even your
and
intonation,
yes,
even your phrasing.
Yes, the phrasing is the thing.
Correct.
Because if you get
accent.
out of sync, that's when you get lost with the whole thing.
One thing that intrigued me here, you did a play, All My Sons. Is that a stage play also?
All My Sons is Arthur Miller's best known play,
Okay.
and it is now on Broadway.
Oh.
And the mother's role, which is the most important role there, aside from the father, of course, is being played by Annette Bening.
Oh.
The Annette Bening.
The Annette Bening. Yeah.
And so I was in Broadway early last year,
So
which
you
is
watched it in Broadway, huh? Okay.
2019. Yes.
All right.
Early last year, I was on Broadway, so I was so curious to find out how they're doing it the way we did it in college.
Yes.
Because that was an annual play in college. I was fourth year. I was graduating when we did that play, and surprisingly, I was telling the production people before I went inside. I said, I play the mother's role, and I'm just curious how they're gonna do it. And after the play, I went back to the production people. I said, I think we did it better back home than what they did just now.
Okay.
It's because there were some unanswered things, like the last portion is the most dramatic, because that shows how the father eventually had to deal with his guilt and he went up,
Okay.
and then the mother was just there at the backyard with the son, and they were telling him, you know, you did wrong because you sold all those spare parts that were defective to the war, to the government for the war, and so all the pilots that were downed, they were all your sons, and one of his sons. He has two sons there. The younger one is there. The older one died.
Jesus.
And so they were saying they were all your sons. And the last part of the play, he went up, and they just heard a shot.
Okay.
And so the way we did it, the way I did it, as directed, when the shot was heard, I turned, I froze, and then my son got me, and I wriggled with my son, and I shouted my husband's name, Joe!
That's how it ended.
And then
Blackout.
The way they did it there, the son went up supposedly to the house, and then came back, and then told the mom he is gone. And then went down to the garden where the mom stood facing the audience, and he was holding, embracing his mom from the waist down, like kneeling. And that's how it ended. He was sobbing, and the mom was sobbing, and I said, "This is too Filipino."
Yeah.
It would not have.
Yeah.
It would not fly if we did it that way.
You stretch it.
Yeah, they were stretching it, and I could understand maybe because it was Annette Bening by all means.
Yes, yes.
She is there on stage facing you, and you're just for all the audience to see and appreciate. And she was the one given the full measure of attention. But the thing is, Dante, if you knew your father shot himself, would you not call 911 or emergency or hospital before you go to your mom and say, "Mom, he's dead," or something? I found that.
But who's at least more near to the original script? Yours or?
No, we followed. I know the script. We followed the script. They follow the script, but it's the interpretation of how you're gonna end it.
Yeah.
The way we ended it was how we thought would be more to the imagination of the audience. Like, will he die? Did he die? What happens now?
Leave it to the audience for them to decide whether.
And then the blackout was the one that was most dramatic. Everybody said, there was a collective, gasp.
How many plays have you done? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
You lost count already?
I don't know. It's not that many, but I've never counted. Another thing that is most significant to me was Cristo. It's a passion play.
Okay.
And I essayed the role of Gloria Romero, and the one who did Jesus Christ is the Matranillo.
Because he played that role in Manila.
The
first.
same,
I think
yes.
it was staged in Manila first.
He still was the Cristo here, and the Judas Iscariot was still the Contrabidas.
I forgot. Res Cortez.
Cortez. Both of them came, and just the two of them for the main role, for the main cast, and then the rest were locals. That's the production of Monsignor Dakay.
Was it in English or?
There was no dialogue. The constant music all throughout was the Passion. The ladies doing the Passion. We did the action, and we essayed the emotion of the Passion.
I remember Alan Jaime Rabaya, the late Alan Jaime Rabaya, went to my office one day for the first time I met him in prison. And he just dropped the script on my desk. Here's the script of chapter 2. I want you to play it, and you're going to play it with Marlinda Abetictan. So that started everything for the both of us. And for me, it was just a very rewarding experience because my first stage theater stint in Cebu. And luckily, after that, there was no follow-up. What happened to the theater?
Theater production is very expensive. That was done by Arts Council.
Yes.
And I'm one of the founding officers
course,
of
yeah.
Arts Council. We did it as a foundation. It is one of the most expensive undertakings that we do.
There was even a time that Tuxedo Junction in
Yes.
Mango Avenue was hot
Yes,
because you
yes.
did a lot of plays there. And after that,
Neil
it died.
Simon
Yes,
comedies, yes.
light plays. But it died in a natural death also.
Because of that, like you have to rehearse, so that takes a lot of effort and time. Second, expense, because you have to feed people, you
Yes.
have to be in a
Exactly,
venue where you can rehearse
exactly.
properly, and then it's a sad thing because we already had a following for Tuxedo.
Yes. One thing is, like in a play, in a production, in a theater production, you rehearse for months or even a year, and you only present it for, 3 nights, 4
Yes,
nights.
yes, that's another thing.
Uh-huh.
The cost of rental
Yes.
for the venue is very prohibitive. It's about 80,000, 75,000 per night for a good venue. And you have to sell enough tickets for you to cover the cost.
But you went into film also. In fact, you were nominated as Best Actress in the Sunulog Short Film Festival, I think, a year before we joined.
Yeah, that's right.
So, do you think film is much easier as far as being an actress is concerned?
The most challenging is stage play because you have to memorize everything. And if you have a director like Aranobaya, you cannot
I know that.
you cannot jumble your lines. You cannot ad lib, which most of the people would do, and so your memory has to be very good. The one about the video is you can just cut it.
Yes,
You do it per scene, so
yeah.
you can memorize per scene.
Who's your favorite stage director in Cebu? Even under.
Raymond Aquino, who was
Oh, yeah.
one of my
Yes.
leading men during Tuxedo Junction plays. We did same time next year.
Same time next year.
Yes.
Neil Simon also.
It was also a very challenging role because I had to change pair the music of the songs.
Yes, yes,
Hello, I don't
really
even know your name.
name.
You only
The last
within
time
that
you pop-
only within that song finish up, change your hair, change your. I aged 25 years.
Yes.
So within that song, you have to change your dress, everything, your look, everything. That was one of the challenging roles I had too, and I had Raymond as leading man. Then I had him as director for that video entry. I find him a very relaxing director. You don't get stressed, and then you give out naturally what you have. Because he challenges you that way.
We were Raymond's actors.
Yes.
In the short film that we had a few
after
years ago.
after that, because he came out with another
No,
entry.
he's busy with
Yes.
MDRCB and all
Yes.
that. But he's looking for a time that he would like to go back to acting and directing again. Because we chat frequently on Facebook. Anyway, so aside from acting, film, theater, you were teaching.
Right after college,
Okay.
I was a teacher. I enjoy teaching. I think teaching is an avocation. You cannot be a good teacher if you don't have passion and dedication.
You taught
for
drama,
that.
speech and drama?
Speech, and then philosophy, logic,
okay.
and ethics.
How long was
and
this?
then for 3 years after graduation, then I got married.
Okay.
So I stopped, and then after a few years, I went to UP. UP Cebu called me because they needed teachers for logic,
Okay.
and so I taught logic and public speaking.
Okay. Do you still hold a position at the Cebu Arts Council?
Arts Council,
Yeah.
no, I got out all these years. I got out. Only recently they asked me to reactivate.
Okay. I think the Cebu Arts Council group still active, I guess.
They're very active. My son took over
Not much
my
more.
place. I mean, when I got out, I said, maybe my son can be elected in my stead.
Not much more on on production, I guess, but it's more on ballet. It's more on
Because it's 7 arts. There are 7 arts, so
okay.
they go into music, dance, the performing arts, music, and
The
then
last-
architecture and sculpture and all these things.
The
So-
last project, Cebu Arts Council project I was involved in was that painting, poetry we had.
Yes.
Art to art.
Speak.
Yeah, art speak.
That
Art to art,
that was
yeah.
an undertaking that I did
Yeah.
for when I was still lifestyle editor of a newspaper. I merged two art the art of the painting
Visual
and the
arts,
art
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
literary
Yes,
arts.
yes,
So
yes.
when you have a poem, somebody paints paints a painting based on your poem, and the other way around. Yeah.
Aside from that, you're into creative writing. You're a very good writer. So
Thank you.
Until now, you still find time for this?
Yes, whenever I have the inspiration, I I strive, I force myself to do it, because it's like any other art or any other. You like playing the piano. If you don't practice,
You play the piano.
I play the piano. If you don't practice, and you
You
get,
become rusty. Yeah.
and last in anything, writing a poem and whatever, a creative writing, you have to keep at it. Yeah.
You're also into radio production. You directed a
Broadcast production.
production and training center.
Broadcast production
So
and training
BPTC.
center. BPTC. Yes.
The one in the YLA.
Yes, yes. They had the budget for these things before. Documentaries. We did Rizal, the lives, the loves, the of Rizal.
I miss those times.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of stuff anymore, especially for this.
We even did pesticide safety, pesticide control, and we went to Erie in Laguna to research on these things.
We had better, I think, avenues then, especially for those communication students. Because-
Exactly. We had a group of researchers.
Yes.
We had a group of different languages, like, because we did Filipino, Cebuano, and English. So we had Filipino consultants for our Tagalog, because when you do scripts in Tagalog, somebody has to
yes,
be Tagalog
of course,
enough, or
yes.
for that matter, when you do it in Tagalog, when you tape it, somebody has to be there.
Yes.
So Cebuano, I wrote in Cebuano and English for that portion of my life.
Sad to say we don't have that kind of outlet for this young crop of journalists to be, or
Exactly.
I hope they can have that again.
And the equipment was very good.
Yes,
They were
yes.
very good.
I had a chance to record a short voiceover there back in the 90s, early 90s, I guess. You're also in Dilaab Foundation.
Yes, I'm the president now of Dilaab
So what does
Foundation.
Dilaab do?
It's a lay organization that is church-based, and our advocacy is involved recovering addicts, and then we have street children, and so we help the archdiocese in the Abtanan sa Kaluoy. That's a 4-story building at the back of Mabolo Church.
Yeah.
That will take care of marginalized children. We provide the venue for them, the space for them to be educated. There will be people there, volunteers who will tutor them, who will feed them. We will provide food for them and space for them to play. And there's a sakyanan sa Kaluoy. It's a customized van that has 4 shower stalls in the van. And so we go out to other parishes who would be too far away from Abtanan in Mabolo, and then provide for them to get washed, to be cleaned. And then at the other side of the van is a feeding area, so they can be fed.
Where did you get your energy from?
No, I am just the president of this. These are just advocacies under Dilaab.
Because of
And
all
so,
the things that you do.
When you are there, when you're open to possibilities, then you just find yourself in an area where you get involved.
Okay.
Without realizing it. Oh, I'm part of this whole thing. It's Father Carmelo Jola, who is really the person who
I know him.
who came up with this idea of the sakyanan sa kaluoy, the abtanan sa kaluoy, and he was also instrumental in getting the bishops, the Italian bishops, who provided the finances for the building.
And during election, also busy with NAMFREL.
Yes, we also, Dilaab was also involved with voter education. We went to the capillas and to house for them not to sell votes. And then we did seminars for candidates. So they sat together and promised to not to buy votes, not to be corrupt if ever they will be elected, to remain true to their promise.
Isn't it frustrating that despite of everything that you do, educating people and all this stuff, and still the practice is still,
In Dilaab, we always say hope. We always cling on to hope.
Dilaab is flame.
A flame, yes. And we always believe that if there's hope, then we will never stop. Because if you stop, who else will move on and do the dreams and the objectives that you've always set out yourselves to be?
What about running the family business? Are you still active, or did you just
it's
delegate it to,
my sons. It's my sons who are into shakies and was this coffee bean, tea leaf, chowking, some chowking.
Yeah. And then also you are the vice chair of the Cebu News Co-op. I didn't know that you're part of the News Co-op.
When I was with media, of course I became a member of the Cebu News Co-op because they invited all media practitioners. And then it used to be just inclusive of media practitioners. And then we opened it up. Now anybody can be a member of the Cebu News Co-op. And after I retired 7 years ago, I thought that they would not, elect me anymore. But it seems that they still want me in. So it's my way of helping our colleagues in media who really need, the financial backup of.
And they need your guidance. They need your experience.
Well, yeah, the how do you call this? The leadership has to be, all constantly maintained in terms of, dedication and not to be swayed by outside influences.
Yes.
Yes.
Was it a time that you thought of, okay,
And just kind of take a back seat and just enjoy life as a private citizen, no more, no less, no more commitments and everything.
That was what I wanted when I got out of my full-time media work 7 years ago. I said, my grandchildren need me.
Yes.
Because towards the last 2 years of my job, and my job entailed that I have to travel a lot. I have to be in this party, in that launching, in that activity. And there were a number of significant activities of my grandchildren that I could not attend.
Ooh.
And so it dawned on me, I said, hey, what is my most important role? It's being a grandmother to these little ones.
Yes.
Not to be, a lifestyle editor, not to be a president, it's being grandma to these little ones because they grow up too soon.
Yeah, I know.
And so I said, no more. Let me get out. And so I thought I was already giving myself time. Then I could not say no to being president of Beverly Hills Association because, they know that I don't have any, commitment anymore. And so all these things came about.
But despite that, do you still find time to, just be yourself, away from all these things for a while and just want to enjoy? No cell phones, nothing.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yes. And that's what happens to me when I travel on my own. I traveled on my own last year.
Yeah.
And so, I could You're not dependent on somebody else's itinerary
Yes.
or somebody else's needs or
Yes.
wants, or so that traveling for me, especially alone, is a respite. Yeah, I needed break.
Mayan, we're running out of time, but I just like to tell you that I'm dying or looking forward to the time that we can act on stage
Yes.
again.
Yes.
The
That would
problem
be-
now with me is I don't trust my memory anymore.
Maybe we can do video.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that would be the
Yeah.
best option. for
Calling
us.
directors out there, we're okay. We're open.
We're ready.
In a way. I couldn't thank you enough for this. And I hope we can have a part two of this discussion in the future. And as I said, I look forward to be working with you again probably in film or on stage
Same here.
if the opportunity comes.
Yes.
I'd like to thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, Marlinda Ambetingtan. Mayan, thank you. Thank you. And wish you all the luck.
Thank you.
Wishing you all the best. Okay. We'll be back here in my side of town shortly.
Be kind to your eyes with Transitions lenses. Transitions adapt to changing light while protecting your eyes from glare and UV.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode, same as I did. I'd like to thank our guests, Attorney Ferdinand Gujilde of the Commission on Elections, Marlinda Ambetingtan, and of course, the Sinulog Executive Director, Sinulog Foundation Incorporated Executive Director, Jojo Labella. The Sinulog fever is still on, despite that the Mardi Gras, the Grand Parade is over, but still, we're still high after the Sinulog fever, and it will last probably for a week or two. And with that, I'd like to thank you. This is Dante Luzon, and see you again in the next episode of My Side of Town. Bye.